Hello, welcome back to the channel. It's another video. I apologise, there's not been a couple of videos for the last couple of days. Been working on a football show called Fando Football. You've seen it across my socials. We're doing a week of live quizzes, which you guys are welcome to join. Link below. But it does mean it's been taking me away from these videos. But I'm sort of jumping really quickly to do today's video, which is ranking the Premier League captains. Now, this video was recommended by, I'm so sorry, I've looked for the person recommended it. I can't find it. If it was you, comment below. I'll pin your comment. Thank you for suggesting this one. Before we get into it though, do subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to get notifications on new videos, ranking videos and songs. Thank you to everyone that watched the 92 League Club song last week. Some great feedback about it, so thank you very much. I know you guys love that song. I love making it. Great to have this season's out and the season can officially start. Drop a like on the video and comment below with your thoughts on my ranking and future rankings you'd like to see me do. And join my Patreon, where for a few pounds a month you can get extra rankings and get mentioned below every video like my current patrons have right now down there. Right, let's get into it. Ranking the Premier League captain, starting at 20 with Kurt Zouma at West Ham. And the reason he's there is because he kicks cats. Sorry, Kurt, but that's, regardless of footballing ability, you're down there because you like to kick cats. And hey, some things are bigger than football. And for me, animal abuse is one of those things. So, sorry, Kurt, when I seen that you'd taken over as captain from Declan Rice, who would have been a lot higher had he stayed as captain for West Ham, Zouma is the new captain. For me, worst captain in the Premier League because he likes to kick cats. Sorry, Kurt. I don't make up the rules. Oh, no, wait. Yeah, I do. In 19th position, I'm going to go with Sheffield United and John Egan. Now, this might be a slightly biased one in that Palace, my team, just played Sheffield United and dominated, really, in a 1-0 win. Should have been more. So, wasn't that impressed with Sheffield United. I think they're going to struggle this season. John Egan actually did play for Palace, I think, back in the day, or had a trial at Palace. So, former Palace player. But, yeah, I think, unfortunately, their squad looks weaker than it did before. Egan, loyal player, been there a while. Maybe I should put him higher at the list, but because of Sheffield United's form in their last game, and it was Billy Sharp, who obviously a bit of a club legend. Yeah, I'm sorry, Egan, I'm putting you 19th in my list. In 18th position, I'm going to go with Luton and Tom Lockyer, which is probably a little bit harsh, but again, when you look at some of the other captains in this list, yeah, he doesn't have the pedigree as such, certainly not at this level, but I know he's well respected at Luton, and they did okay in their first game, didn't they, away at Brighton 3-1, but I think it's going to be a long season for them, a long season for Tom. It's going to be interesting to see whether they sign any new players, whether he keeps his place. I know he's loved at Luton, but for me, in this ranking of Premier League captains, Tom Lockyer is 18th. In 17th, I'm going to go for Jack Cork at Burnley, who is a perfectly fine Premier League player, but just not that inspiring to me, to be honest, as a captain. I know Burnley are looking to maybe stay out this season. Well, they're definitely looking to that. I think they probably will. And they've got an okay squad, to be fair, some exciting young players. But Jack Cork as a captain, I have to admit, it doesn't inspire me, maybe in the way some of these other players do. I think he's a very, very average Premier League player. But hey, I'm sure he's loved at Burnley. But again, when you look at the ranking of all these other Premier League captains, for me, Jack Cork is down there. I'll be surprised if he gets, I don't know, I feel like Burnley might sign some more players. But Burnley fans, let me know, is he integral to the Burnley team, Burnley squad? Let me know. But anyway, he's been there a while. Definitely remember him from the last time they were in Premier League. But yeah, for me, Jack Cork, 17th. In 15th position, Joe Worrall at Nottingham Forest, who I think has just signed a new deal, and I saw some Forest fans online talking very positively about that, or certainly about him. I know he's well liked at Forest. Another team who I think will be battling most of the season. They'll need their players like Worrall on top form. I don't know how many games he gets at the moment, and again, the last season their transfer policy was huge, big turnaround. I think not quite the same this time around. But Joe Worrall is a perfectly respectable Premier League player, maybe more of a Championship player, but I'm going to put him at 16th in my list of Premier League captains. For 15th, I'm going to go with Neto at Bournemouth, who is captain at Bournemouth. I talked previously about him in a video, and he's actually quite underrated. Not a massive fan of keepers as captains. I sort of get the idea in that they can sort of see the whole pitch and stuff, but difficult to lead, I think, from being in goal. And they're a different breed, keepers as well. They can be quite vocal, I guess, but I think captain needs to be in the middle of the park, I think, so he can see everything. So loses points for that. But Bournemouth fans, let me know, is he a big talker? Is he an influential player in the squad? I don't know that much about him, apart from the fact that he has impressed last season. And, I've seen many good performances from him. So, yeah, I'm putting him at 15th in my list for Neto. At 14th, I'm going to go with Tom Cairney, who I believe is Fulham captain now that Mitrovic has left. At Fulham fans, let me know. I like Tom Cairney, but we just never feel like we can see enough of him in the Premier League. He's a very good player. One of those players that's brilliant at Championship level. Hasn't quite yet made the impact in the Premier League, but he might have to this season, given that I know there's been a lot of ins and outs at Fulham. And Mitrovic, we think, is off, hasn't officially left yet. I don't think Fulham fans. Raul Jimenez is in. Signed a couple of wingers, Traore. So, yeah, Tom Cairney in there. I like him a lot. Got great hair, great left foot. How influential is he? Is he a talker? Does he lead? I feel like maybe sort of leads more by example than vocally. But let me know, Fulham fans. I've got him at 14th in my list. At 13th, I'm going to play for Wolves. It's Max Kilman, who's taken over from Ruben Neves, who left, of course, in the summer. Neves probably would have been a bit higher. I like Max Kilman. Rumours of him getting a move to Europe, I think. Don't know if that's still going to happen. A very good player. Came from the lower leagues and has really impressed. But I would say at the moment hasn't really got a pedigree as captain. But could see him maybe be captain for quite a long time. I think Wolves might struggle this season, although I said that in a previous video. After the Man United game, I think they've proven actually they might have what it takes to stay up. They'll need players like Kilman, not just playing well, but organising them to try and stay up this season. I think he could be a really good captain in the future, but right for now, maybe it's a little bit too early for him to be too high up my list. So he's in 13th. At 12th, it's Christian Norgard at Brentford. Brentford keep impressing, don't they? And they keep playing above their station. Norgard is a good player. They've got quite a few Scandinavians there at Brentford who do quite well. It was Pontus Jansson previously, the former Leeds player. He has now left, gone to Malmo, I believe. So Jansson's taken over, who I think was vice-captain anyway. I think he's a solid player, good captain material, well respected at the club, and there's always a bit of a succession plan at Brentford, and so he slots in nicely to the captain role. So yeah, I got Christian Norgard at 12. At 11th, and I couldn't put them above Palace, so I've gone for Lewis Dunk at Brighton. Maybe a bit harsh given what they've done so far and what they achieved last season at Brighton. And Dunk has been there a long time. He's a very good captain. It pains me to say it, and you'll know why he's at 11th in a minute when you see he was 10th. But yeah, I'm going to put Dunk down there purely because he's a Brighton captain. I'm sorry, Lewis. You are actually a very good defender, a very good leader. And I even saw one of the pre-season videos you did on the Brighton social media. It was actually quite funny as well. But I just can't put you below Palace, unfortunately, Lewis. Sorry, mate, but I do have a lot of respect for you and for Brighton. So there we go. Lewis Dunk in 11th, because in 10th it's Joel Ward at Crystal Palace, who has become new captain this season after Wilfried Zaha and James MacArthur have left. Or I think Wardy was maybe possibly higher in the ranking than Wilf, but I think MacArthur was top. Mark Gahey's also in the rankings as well, I think, as captain. But Joel Ward, been at Palace for 12 years now, or 11 years. Absolute stalwart, continues to impress at right back, despite getting older, despite Palace refusing to sign a new right back. Loved at Palace. Maybe doesn't get the respect outside Palace he deserves, but a club legend. Will get a testimonial soon. Continues to impress. Absolute captain material. I put in 10th because the captains above him in this list are better players. But at the moment, for Palace, you probably couldn't think of a better captain. 10th for Wardy. In 9th, I got another club legend and someone who's been there a long time. It's Seamus Coleman at Everton, who's been at the club for what feels like about 400 years. Again, like Wardy, maybe not one of the best players in the Premier League, but keeps continuing to impress, play above his station, and maybe answer some critics. So I think Everton will be down there and be struggling again this season. But Coleman is an absolute bona fide captain, well respected at the club. Again, like Joel Ward, don't know how much longer he'll be there. But Seamus Coleman, I got a 9th in my list of captains. In 8th, it's Jamal Lascelles, who I was very surprised to learn is Newcastle captain. I thought it might be Guimaraes or Joe Linton or someone like that, or Nick Pope. Lascelles is captain apparently, and can't deny he's done a great job with that Newcastle squad. Doesn't even get many games, I don't think, at the moment. So Newcastle fans, let me know. I don't think he's a regular, so who else is captain when he's on the pitch? Is it one of the centre-backs? Is it Shah? Is it Botman? Is it Kieran Trippier? I think it might be Trippier. So in 8th, I've gone for Aston Villa and John McGinn, who is another player who's been there a while, been with Villa up through the levels from Championship to Premier League. Great player, continues. Another club is spending a lot of money. He keeps his place because he's reliable and the fans love him. The manager loves him. You know what you're going to get from him. He's a feisty player. but you need that as captain. Sometimes when the game is going away from you, you need your captain to dig in and show you what needs to be done. So John McGinn for me is 8th in my list of captains. In 7th, I'm going to go for Bruno Fernandes at Man United, who has taken over the captaincy this summer after David De Gea left the club. Now, Bruno's undoubtedly a great player, but I don't know if he's massive Premier League captain material. Likes to harass referees, is quite moany. I would say quite a lot of rat features about him. But hey, maybe that makes a good captain. Fans love him, clearly, so maybe he's someone you can get behind, and maybe he, the sort of player that gets in your face because he's protecting his teammates. So might be a bit low, actually, number 7, but that's my controversial pick. Bruno Fernandes, number 7 in my list. At number 6 in my list, I've gone for the new Tottenham captain. Heung-min Son is taken over after Harry Kane. Kane would have definitely been top 2 or 3 for me. Son, great player, lovely lad. Is he captain material? He's a bit quiet to be captain. Probably one that leads by example. Although last season had a difficult season. Needs to prove himself again this season. Maybe he'll be higher up my list if I do it again next year. So currently, I've got Heung-min Son in 6th. In 5th, I've got the new Chelsea captain, which is Reece James, who has taken over from, I don't even know who was previous Chelsea captain. Anyway, Reece James is the new captain. I saw that released earlier this week. Great player. Obviously, it's a struggle with injuries, which probably frustrates him more than anyone. But on his day, one of the best right backs in the world. Again, is he vocal enough to be a great captain? I don't know. Ability-wise, he's definitely up there. That's why he's 5th in my list, Reece James. 4th, I've got the Newcastle on-pitch captain, Kieran Trippier. I think Jamal Lascelles is club captain, but doesn't get many games now. So on the pitch is Kieran Trippier. Fantastic player, really leads by example, took his team to a cup final last year and to the Champions League, really doing the business, leads vocally, leads by example in terms of what he does at the back and getting assists and goals from free kicks. Brilliant player, really found his home at Newcastle and thriving. 4th in my list, Kieran Trippier. 3rd in my list is a captain who almost won the Premier League last season. It's Martin Ødegaard at Arsenal, who has definitely proven that he can kick it in the Premier League. A player with a lot of promise when he was a teenager, moved to Real Madrid. Didn't work out. He's come to Arsenal, really settled. Leads by example. Got everything about him to be a great midfielder, great left foot, feistiness, can score goals, can defend. I like him a lot, and I know that our Arsenal fans do too. So yeah, Martin Ødegaard, 3rd in my list. Which leaves 2, starting with the new Man City captain, which is KDB, Kevin De Bruyne. Unfortunately, he's injured, currently out for 4 months. So who will be the on-pitch captain? Don't know. That might be Kyle Walker. Currently, is KDB. Took over from Fernandinho, I believe, who left in the summer. One of the best players in the Premier League, Kevin De Bruyne. Does have a bit of a moany streak to him. Is that a good captain material? Don't know, but he is very vocal. He can get involved in the tackle. He can score goals from anywhere, obviously, and he's well respected. Not just in Manchester City, probably in one of the most respected players in the Premier League. So there you go. Kevin De Bruyne, 2nd in my list. Which leaves, probably not a massive surprise, Virgil van Dijk as the number 1 captain in my list. Taken over from James Milner, who's left in the summer, but I think Van Dijk has pretty much been captaining Liverpool from the back. A fantastic player. Maybe not had the best couple of seasons, but certainly was one of the reasons that they did so well and won the Premier League a couple of years ago and Champions League as well. A brilliant player, well respected throughout the Premier League, loved at Liverpool. He's vocal, leads by example from the back. A great player. Well done, Virgil van Dijk. Number 1 in my list of captains. Well, there you go. Did you like that list? Was it a good idea for a list? Did I get them right? Did I get them wrong? Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on my list and future lists that I should do as well. Subscribe if you're new here. Hit the bell so you get notifications every time I do a new video. Drop a like on the video. Comment below, as I said. And join my Patreon, which is linked below for a couple quid a month to be extra rankings. I'll be doing that next week for the patrons. And you get mentioned below every video. Right, I'll try and do a video tomorrow. Apologies if I don't, but I will try. But I am on the Fando Football socials as well at the moment and hosting their live quizzes. Link below to join those, 6 p.m. every day this week. Until next time, take care.